Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So over the past couple of months, there's been a boycott targeting the Nintendo Switch 2 where people were saying upon its release, they were not going to purchase it because of greedy business practices by Nintendo. Now with this particular boycott, the grievances are pretty reasonable. I think we all know Nintendo is extremely greedy. However, a lot of the people who were voicing their support for this boycott on social media, they were also consumers. And when it came to their opportunity to pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, that's exactly what they did, and the results are very clear. As you can see, in the 2 or so days since its release, the Nintendo Switch 2 sales have shattered records. It's the most sold console in a 24-hour period, and the projections for the coming months are also very insane. This is not too surprising. People are very vocal for their support of boycotts online, but when it comes to the actual decision, a lot of people behind the scenes will go ahead and purchase what they were supposed to be boycotting anyways. And out of that, there's been a lot of anger, a lot of spite, and a lot of toxicity in the days since the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and nothing captures it more than this tweet right here that had thousands upon thousands of people seething. Now you can see the caption here, "Never game end yourself," with a picture of 2 Nintendo Switch 2s and 2 pizzas from Pizza Hut. Okay, this is a very common joke on Twitter. It's not meant to be taken literally or too seriously. You just post this when something good happens to you, right? And you can see the reactions. 100,000 likes, thousands of interactions in the comments and quotes, a lot of very angry ones, and over 20 million views. Now, what's going on here? Well, people saw this image and they just got very, very upset. And I really can't believe some of the tweets I've seen. Here's one with 85,000 likes saying, "I think I might game end myself for living in a third world country. Bro, what do you need 2 for?" Now, this user, of course, should have checked with this individual before they actually posted this, because God forbid someone in a different part of the world might see it. But of course, to clarify something that's going to be relevant for the rest of this video, the original poster is someone who, well, they only bought one. It was a photo they took with a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, or a family member. We don't know, who cares, but they only purchased one themselves. And still, we saw viral tweets like this with over 100,000 likes. This one's now been deleted, so that's why it's a little bit fried. But this person said, "Some of y'all are really privileged." Yes, buying a Nintendo Switch 2 makes you very privileged. When people in the Sudan think about, man, what privileges am I missing? They're thinking of a Nintendo Switch 2. It's kind of crazy to see the number of likes that this would get. It really shows a pretty clear narrative on social media about this. Now, of course, a Nintendo Switch 2 or any console for that matter, it's a luxury, right? If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be getting it. But this doesn't make you a privileged person, just having a Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's kind of ridiculous. And of course, you know, there's people who work hard and maybe don't have the extra money to buy something like this. But if they're not doing that, it's because they're being smart with their money. I've seen completely broke people be able to purchase something like a Nintendo Switch 2. It's just how people want to spend their extra money on something like this. Now, credit where credit is due, this user would delete their post, like I said, and say, "I'm very sorry to say that then I wasn't expecting my tweet to blow up the way it did. If it comes out as mean-spirited, then I apologize. I'm glad you're enjoying your new console and celebrating. It's not an opportunity most people have, but that shouldn't detract the joy." This part's fair. Also, I always love the excuse, though, like, "I never thought this would blow up." Yeah, neither did this person. They didn't think posting a couple pizzas and Nintendo Switch 2s would get them death threats, accusations, all kinds of crazy stuff we're going to look at, but that's what happened. But at least, you know, kudos to this person for attempting to take down their post and recognize it was a little too mean-spirited. But that didn't stop many other people from going completely crazy on this. Some VTuber here saying, "Maybe I'm just too woke." If you already said you're any level of woke, you're too woke. But anyways, they say, "Maybe I'm just too woke, but I feel people in The higher class flexing their wealth in a time where some people are living paycheck to paycheck and can barely afford food even with a job, all thanks to this BS economy, comes across as a bit insensitive. Happy for them though. You're not happy for them. Like, don't even pretend this is passive aggressive. But this is kind of crazy. Is there ever a good time to post anything then? Like, do you think back 50 years ago or 50 years in the future, there's going to be a better, more appropriate time to post your Nintendo Switch 2? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is not supposed to be a direct insult to everyone out there. She didn't post 2 Porsches and say, get on my level, brokies, okay? It's not like that. This isn't that insane of a thing to see, especially given the fact they only purchased one for themselves. But let's move on to another tweet. This person saying, it's funny, haha, until you remember people who usually fall in depression don't have the privilege to buy even food. I'm searching for the correlation. I don't understand what depression has to do with this image, but I guess this person's taking great offense to that. But again, if you're like severely depressed, I don't think you should be spending your limited resources on Nintendo Switch 2s or spending your time seething about people purchasing Nintendo Switch 2s online. You should use your resources and time for something that might actually help you. But here's another one that's also deleted saying, you people wouldn't survive a day in a third world country. What does that have to do with anything? Like, this is literally crazy. Are you going to do this with every picture someone posts showing any sort of a luxury they've ever purchased in their lives? It's such an aggressive and hostile thing to say. This person says, I hate rich people. This is what being rich looks like in the year 2025, right? But let's get an example of what rich really means. So this comment says, maybe you should actually, telling the original poster to end their life. And this person says, jealous brokey. This person responds by saying, you're a 90-year-old YouTuber, get a real job, you effing bum. This person says, in quotes, YouTuber. And they show that they have a YouTube channel in their bio, which doesn't make them a YouTuber for a job. They say, even if I was a YouTuber, which I'm not, I can still afford a Switch 2 plus all the extensions with my own cash, which is more than I could save for you. Glad you have over $1,000 and no bills, effing loser. You're saying someone's a loser for having expendable cash? Again, let's make this very clear. People shouldn't be shamed just because they don't have money. But when you go out there and you start shaming other people for showing off their Nintendo Switch 2 and being very hostile towards it, you're kind of opening yourself up to get made fun of in response. And this person says, calling someone a loser when it's clear you're poor and angry about it is funny. Says the MF who would betray his own morals for money. Go F yourself. Wow. If your morals depend on whether or not you're going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 that you basically admit you couldn't even buy anyways, that's a harsh reality that you're living. I don't know how we got here. Apparently it's immoral to buy something with your extra cash for the purposes of entertainment. And again, I'll make this clear. I have no interest in a Nintendo Switch 2. In fact, when I look at that photo, the only thing I care about is Pizza Hut. Okay? Say what you want. That might be my hottest take. Pizza Hut slaps. Deal with it. Okay? That's what I'm more interested in than anything else in that photo. But anyways, let's move on. People getting very direct now. We're killing you, bruh. You greedy ass bitch. That seems like a very disproportionate response to someone posting this picture. Also, to be honest with you, I don't think you're putting your hands on anyone. Like, I'm just going to be real. I don't think this person's touching anyone. If they're saying stuff like this and acting like this on the internet, let's just be real. Here's a response saying, these groomers. Yes, we're throwing around grooming allegations because someone bought a pizza and a console. That's Twitter in a nutshell, by the way. This is not even surprising whatsoever. Here's another person saying, we all deserve to die in a horrible death for the plague we left on this planet. I regret to inform this individual, it is simply not that deep. It is simply not that deep, and there's really nothing else to say here. Here's another one saying, why do people get so viscerally angry and miserable at people expressing happiness? This is the most insane thing to get mad over. 100% correct. Now let me share some wisdom. Like, really, let me tell you. I'm a controversial individual. Everyone watching this video knows, right? I've made some hot takes, things that go against the norm, what's safe, all these things. And I get backlash for that. And that's pretty expected, right? Even though, maybe it's not so proportionate in response, but nothing makes people angrier than when you make a post sharing something positive in your life. Trust me, you share any milestone, anything positive going on, something that you're happy about, you will get more hate than anything else. It's actually profound, especially on Twitter. And the people will come out of the woodwork to try to give you the most vile and just delusional responses the second there is something that shows any degree of happiness. And you don't have to like psyop these people. You know why they're so upset, because obviously they're upset about their own life, and that's really the easy explanation to why people get so viscerally angry about those expressing happiness on social media. It's kind of sad at the end of the day, but it doesn't make it okay, right? But the original poster would make a follow-up quote saying this: posted a picture of my Nintendo Switch 2 and a pizza, and I've been called every slur in the book, and also a disgusting, privileged consumer American. So, hey, can anyone pinpoint the exact moment people started going insane? Personally speaking, I think it was Harambe. That's about the time I think everything just went haywire on the internet. I guarantee a decent number of you just agreed with me on that one. But in all seriousness, I don't really know. It's just kind of sad, the state of things, and especially since a lot of this stuff on Twitter in particular has been monetizable. Like, people already did this for the love of the game. People are already incredibly toxic and hateful just for the sake of getting attention on Twitter. But then they added in blue check marks, and now people can make 15 pennies doing the same thing, and it's a big deal for them. And that's really just why things have gotten increasingly worse on really all social media platforms for that matter. But of course, as you might guess, people were also fuming about this response. This person saying, the fact this is lost on you is insane. I think you might be the one who's a little bit insane here. Number one, bio of the week. Absolutely crazy. And it all starts to make sense, right? Yep. Marxist in the bio as well. Is that surprising at all? Another commie LARPer on the internet trying to attack people for, I don't know, just living their life like a completely normal person who actually seems to have a source of income and can spend things on some luxuries they want to enjoy. Do you see why a person like this would be so angry about it? Yes, many such cases. Then you got this person saying, privileged white R word. Can't understand why making a gay men joke is rubbing people the wrong way. LOL, that's why I changed white to YT and suddenly my post isn't hateful. No, it's clearly still hateful because you're attacking her because of the color of her skin. And you changing white to YT, which is how people type it out on social media, it not only confirms you're hateful, it just also makes you kind of a coward. Like, you want to give the smoke, but protect your account. Everyone knows what you're trying to say. You're mad because she's white. And also they say the R word while trying to act like the progressive one. Many such cases. But anyways, you have this person also saying there's an active boycott against the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's just outrageous. And you bought 2 of them. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen when you posted a picture of you with 2 Nintendo Switch 2s and 2 pieces of, or 2 pizzas that you're sharing with someone else? Ooh, How did you not expect endless harassment and allegations? How dare you expect people to be normal? That's how I read this, and also no one cares about the boycott, clearly because the sales are insane, so cope and seethe. And then this person says, in quotes, won't somebody think of us poor rich people, end quote. Be effing for real. Again, you are a rich person if you have a Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's a bit hyperbolic, don't you think? Here's another one that is just almost knocked me out of my chair, dude. Because you are a disgusting, privileged American consumer. You got not one, but two. Wrong, you didn't check. And with that BS caption, bitch, to pose half naked on the internet in cosplays of characters that are directed towards children/children media. A majority of people have to work hard and make an honest living and still not be able to afford a damn near 1K console. But cause you arch your back and hold a Pokeball, you have the right to say never game end yourself. Like, people aren't living hard lives and just want a little fun in their lives. Privileged, out of touch, weirdo. Is this person okay? This is literally Twitter in a nutshell. I'm surprised this is not on Blue Sky. This seems like a more Blue Sky tailored post, like complete delusions, projection, virtue signaling, like long paragraphs saying a bunch of backhanded, ridiculous stuff. You would expect it maybe on Blue Sky these days, but nope, still here on Twitch. And it's glorious to look at. Thank you for entertaining us all on this day. But of course, this post caused a lot of controversy, and it's getting like literally like a quote per minute. People are still seething as I'm recording this video, and well, I guess let them. It's the highlight of their day, I suppose. But anyways, that's going to do for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.